The likes of Johnny Yull and Ben Falami, while Bart Vrens is out after an injury he suffered last weekend. And there is Anselmo, the Brazilian, very well travelled, most recently in Malaysia, but before that, Saudi Arabia, his native Brazil, with the likes of Palmeiras and Internacional, and of course, stints in Italy and elsewhere in Europe. He's 36 years young, and can he make a real impact for Adelaide in just his third appearance and first start here tonight? Adam Griffiths has been confirmed as the Perth permanent coach, and his counterpart there, Etan Andrioli. Let's go down to the ground announcer.
And the resulting loss of innocent lives at Bondi Beach on Sunday. As a mark of respect, we now ask, if able, please rise for a moment of silence as we offer our heartfelt sympathies to the victims, their loved ones, and the communities impacted. Thank you.
So, as it has been at every A-League men's and women's venue this weekend, the minute's silence impeccably observed. Will Freeney and Callum Timmins having a quick chat there. Does this mean Perth Glory has had to make a late change after the warm-ups? We will get to that in just a moment. Tonight's referee is Sam Kelly. Assistants are Arvin Shanmuganathan and Owen Goldrick. There is our whistleblower. And Liam Barclay, the Perth native, is fourth official. And in the VAR booth, Adam Kersey and Brad Wright are standing by. We can confirm that Reece Bozanovski has been withdrawn from the squad after the warm-up. Giovanni De Abreu, the former Australia under-17 international, has been added to the bench. And it means Callum Timmins is out. That's a massive, massive change at the very last moment for the Glory. There's Timmins. He starts tonight, but the industry of Bozanovski is a huge loss. And it's a late twist here. Right on kickoff of this Isuzu UTE A-League men's round 9 fixture. Perth Glory against Adelaide United. And as both myself and Eric Partaloo scramble to update our notes, the former A-League champion joins me. Eric, good evening.
Taya, good evening, yeah. Well, it's a strange one just before kickoff, but it's going to be a great game just before the Christmas period. And for Adelaide, the away side, they will be looking to try and get back on track. 3 losses in a row cannot become 4 for Etan Andrioli and his side. Both sides, almost a new look attack, if you could say, in the front line in the form of Anselmo with Jovanovic and Lawrence with Suleimani. So there should be goals in this one.
Arian Suleimani getting a rare start for the Glory tonight, but the absence of Taggart certainly creates a demand. And Nicholas Pennington also getting an opportunity, given he has been deployed as a super sub at times this season. You see him lining up on the left side of attack in these early exchanges. A long ball from Smets, and very nearly working out beautifully for Yaya Dukuli, who comes in tonight on a 13-game streak since he last scored in the A-League. So he'd love to net his first of the season here tonight. Just 2 goals in what is now 46 A-League games for Yaya Dukuli. So he's at a tipping point where he'd love to start becoming a regular scorer and improve his strike rate. Dylan Parias knocking the ball into the middle. Panakikianis can put a foot on the ball and just assess whether Perth are going to press him or not here. Now Suleimani gets interested in leading the press. Ryan Kitto back to his goalkeeper Smets. Adelaide looking comfortable enough in possession. Here's Ryan White. Just his second career start tonight in game number 23. bided his time as a bench player and gets the opportunity here this evening.
Yeah, you just wonder for Yaya Cooley early on, Teo. We saw him in the original rivalry last week playing on the other side, and it didn't really work out for him. I think it works best for Adelaide if he is on the left-hand side, cutting in on his right foot. But where does that leave Craig Goodwin? As we can see now, he's looking to be a little bit more central to try and play those passes through. So we asked Ayrton Andreola to see if there's been a tweak from last week. Maybe that's a little tweak there.
It's been a patient first 3 minutes for both teams. Ian Smith's looking in complete control. Here's Anselmo playing with his back to goal and great strength on the ball. Looking to link up with his teammates. A smooth 1-2. And now Jovanovic sees De Cooley. Perth have got numbers back. De Cooley looking for a gap, and Brian Kaltak concedes a corner.
He's adding a different dimension already, the big Brazilian. Anselmo, great hold-up play and great linking with Jovanovic, who got his head up and tried to find somebody else inside the box. Look at that, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 white shirts inside the box. They're hungry for goals, Adelaide, early on.
Perth with a towering centre-back pair. Kaltak and Wooden getting ready for a corner defence here. Craig Goodwin to take. Goodwin, swinging corner, actually skimmed off Kikianis' head, and then the shot wide from Piraeus. It was a roundhouse attempt at the ball, and he sent it wide of the right-hand post.
Well, he got himself a goal last week, and he thought, on the edge of the box, this is another opportunity, and just more of a slap shot more than anything. But I'll tell you what, Sutton was scrambling.
That is a great way of describing it. I described one of Philip Curto's saves last night as a stick save, and now you've gone with the ice hockey terminology of the slap shot. Matt Sutton will be hoping for the shutout tonight as he takes the goal kick. Lawrence gets a touch, as does Timmins. Here's Charbel Shamoun. Laurie looking to move. Trent Osler restored to the team, having been sent off a couple of games ago in the win against Western Sydney Wanderers for 2 first-half yellow cards. Here is Timmins. Timmins is very much an A-League veteran. It's his 112th appearance, Eric, but Bosnovsky has been such an engine room for Perth Glory this season, and he's been a bit of a Mr. Reliable as well in an inconsistent season of selection for a lot of other positions, so he's a huge loss tonight.
And somehow he's really had a good relationship with Will Freeney and brought the best out in him, and it's so important. We talk about defensive partnerships. When you play with a 6-6 combination, you've got to go and know each other's movements. You've got to know if one goes long ways, another one's got to go short. So they've got to figure out this combination, because Adelaide, they like to play through the middle, if Goodwin's there especially.
Here is Freeney. A series of ricochets off the face of Ryan White, but he's unperturbed by it. Wooden. Now Shamoun. To venture forward here. Slides the pass to Suleimani. Lawrence is on in the middle. Can Suleimani pick him out? He's going to wait for other options and then just gift the ball to Smits.
Oh, what a shame. That was really good work from Perth Glory. A really nice curved run, staying onside just Suleimani, and nobody really making that run. And to be fair, Adelaide United do well to get bodies back, to give protection to Josh Smits, who has not been getting a lot of that this season.
That's a good point. Just the one clean sheet so far. He's made a confident opening to this game. He's on point with his distribution too. He tested here as he receives a hurried back pass, and sure enough, he finds Anselmo with aplomb. Craig Goodwin can't keep the ball though. Timmins trying to forage forward. Anselmo can send Adelaide the other way. Jovanovic. Goodwin directing traffic. And now Craig Goodwin. He veers inside, shooting range, and the shot curls over the bar.
You can see it already. Craig Goodwin is in the mood tonight, and he's got more of a free role going through the middle again. Alagic getting stuck in, trying to win possession back, maybe just copped an elbow, but Goodwin, in those sorts of positions, you're expecting the A-League veteran to hit the target, but it's a good move.
Well, Perth by no means his favourite opponent. 23, now 24 head-to-head appearances against them and just the 4 goals. In fact, other than MacArthur and Western United, it's down there with Melbourne City as one of his least prolific opponents in terms of goal scoring. There's the Perth gaffer, Adam Griffiths, having a word to Liam Barclay, the 4th official. He's a prominent central referee in the recently completed Australian Championship, so you can imagine that he's on the pathway to a central referee gig before too long. Have his ears full tonight. Here's an attempted through ball. Suleimani just bodied, and it allowed Smits to come out of his line and clear.
I think that was Tom Lawrence coming all the way back to help out his midfield there. That's excellent work. That's what you want to see. Getting stuck in from the front and noticing and recognising that Craig Goodwin is just turning up in those little pockets of space. It's great work from Tom Lawrence.
We've had a Grinch at almost every game this round, and sure enough, there is one smack bang in the centre of the shed. Hoping to steal 3 points from Adelaide for Christmas is the Grinch. Ivanovic and Timmins, and a little bit of afters. Perhaps one of the reasons that Callum Timmins hasn't necessarily kept his spot in the team as regularly this season is he has been susceptible to an early card in some of the games this campaign. It has curtailed the way he likes to play. Very combative, ball-winning player. So long ball looks for Suleimani here as he timed his run once again. Off the chest. Not this time. Flag up.
Well, I think what you do get from this Perth Glory lineup, now that Sam Sutton is fully fit, is you have a left-sided left back, and it moves Shamoon onto that right-hand side. So there's a little bit more of a balanced feel for the Perth Glory.
So the Adelaide away bay. There are a few more Reds fans in the house.
Well, you can't miss him.
Almost 10 minutes gone, scoreless. White, first time ball. He's going to set Parias down the wing. He goes for the first time ball as well, but Kaltak is able to open up the body and clear for a throw.
It's a special pass, that, from Ryan White. And you've got to love it as a midfielder. That's the one you want to try and play around the corner. You know you've got a racehorse like Parias getting forward. So good at getting behind the fullback. He's so dangerous for Adelaide United.
DeCooley sees the underlapping run from Goodwin, but declines that option. Alagic ran into trouble in the form of Freeney. Now Timmins can clear. Suleimani a lone hand, and effective back pass from Kikianis. Now Jay Barnett continuing to deputise at centre-back in the absence of Bart Vriens. We did see that Adelaide named potential debutant Satiri Phyllis in their extended squad for this game, but he didn't end up making the bench for this one. So Barnett in a new role rather than to maybe the next young centre-back, following in the footsteps of this man here, Panagiotis Kikianis. Game number 37 tonight for the 20-year-old. Here's Kitto. Goodwin, DeCooley. Back to Goodwin, extracted the ball nicely, and now he's looking to sprint through the left. Goodwin! He's done it! Pinpoint! Craig Goodwin fires in. He has looked sharp from the off tonight, and it's taken him just 12 minutes to break through. Adelaide United 1, Perth Glory 0.
Just incredible. He's had a lot of space and time early on in this game, but if you give him too much space and time, he'll do that. On the Harvey Norman replay, just watch his movement here. The little cute touch there from Yaya Dakuli, and the run to bust his gut to make everybody in that Perth backline think the return pass is going to come, but it doesn't, because it's got an absolute wand of a left foot. Yes, it takes a deflection, but the power and the precision of the man gets the job done, and Adelaide United take an early lead here. Who else? Craig Goodwin.
And Matt Sutton frustrated as he's beaten by excellent placement, and yes, just a little deflection rolling off the studs, but there's his numbers. Career goal number 60 tonight for Craig Goodwin, and his 5th against the Glory. Same tally that he's netted against Melbourne Victory and Western Sydney Wanderers, so it's no longer one of his least prolific opponents.
That's a curse if I've ever heard one, Teo. In a good way.
And Dakuli, I mean, even though there is a deflection on the shot, we'll come back to that. Perth looking for an instant response. They're going to have their first corner of the night, but in spite of the deflection, surely Dakuli gets the assist for that beautiful return pass to Craig Goodwin there.
And we did talk about that. Where was Goodwin going to play? It just opened up for him. Just took a little deflection on the way through. Not sure if the goalkeeper would have saved it anyway. It was such a good striker of the ball is Craig Goodwin, but Dakuli, Goodwin, he's got that free roll tonight, I think, in the middle.
Tom Lawrence on corner duty for Perth. Can they strike back in the blink of an eye? In swing into the near post. Kikyanis with an emphatic header away. Goodwin. Jovanovic. He's coughed up possession here to Timmins. Now Shamoon with Kaltak and Freeney. Oh, he's split 2 of his teammates and put the ball out for a throw.
The positive omen for Adelaide is that they've scored first on 3 occasions, make that 4 now, to win all 3 games after that. When they've conceded firsts on 5 occasions, they've lost all 5. So have we seen anything flexible in the change in the way that they've played? Maybe the ingredient of Anselmo, Goodwin's positioning, yes, but that's a great sign if those trends are to continue.
Well spotted build up to this game, Eric. You and I were discussing it off air pre-match, and sure enough, Adelaide in the lead. Glory, they've had their issues trying to overturn home deficits this season. Of course, they were able to come from behind to beat Newcastle at McDonald Jones Stadium about a month ago. You think of the loss to the Central Coast Mariners, the loss to Sydney FC last week, even early goals, late goals, they have struggled to come from behind at home.
And it's the 5th time they've conceded in the first 15 minutes of a game. So it has been a trend long before Adam Griffiths became the head coach, but now they have work to do. And they have a side out there capable of scoring goals. You look across that lineup, especially in the front line, they just need to get that service. But now Adelaide will start to try and dominate and control possession, which they are so good at doing.
Certainly can't be that warm. Ed Andrioli in the long-sleeved cardigan tonight. So we see a spectacular flip and fall in midfield. Is the trainer going to be called for Callum Timmins, because that was a heavy landing?
Well, it's not going to be nice to watch this one. Yeah, well, luckily for Callum, he's landed on the side of his scapula and not on top of his head, where he could have really injured his neck there. I think he's going to be all right.
He's back up, but there's a war of words between he and Craig Goodwin in the aftermath. Glory fans finding their voice, cheering on the home side as they seek an equalizer. A slip at the key moment here allows White to break through. Referee takes evasive action. Lawrence intercepts the pass. Timmins played it right into a 50-50. Now he goes to ground while Jovanovic keeps his feet. Jovanovic trying to find a way through the right side of attack. Well, of course, one of the other teams that scored one of those first 15-minute goals against the Glory at HBF Park was Melbourne victory as well. So, and that was Adam Griffith's first game in charge as interim coach. So it's a scenario that even in his short stint in charge, he's seen a few times now. It's worth acknowledging that Perth, with their very large squad, also have a very large number of injuries. It's not just Taggart, it's Lockie Wales as well, who's been out for some time. Luke Amos, we haven't seen this season. Wozanovsky, a huge out 5 minutes before kickoff after the warm-up. Build-up is promising here, though. Pennington. Now Shamoon. From a standing start, waits for the run of Lawrence, and nearly in for an own goal. Smith's alert to the deflection from his teammate Kitto. Thankfully for Kitto, no real power behind his deflection.
Well, it's all about Tom Lawrence. He's getting in between the lines, asking for the ball, trying to get something started for Perth Glory. They had the numbers in. There was a nice little flick around the corner from Pennington.
Pennington with a glancing touch here. Glory fans appealing for a free kick. And the referee obliges, so it'll be a mid-range set-piece opportunity here for the Perth Glory.
Just for Perth Glory, they need to get that accuracy in the final third. Make those passes stick, as you see this one here. Again, being physical. Adelaide United. Adelaide in the final third have had 80% accuracy in their passing, whereas the Perth Glory just the 40. So it's an area right now that they have to get on top of to create better chances for themselves.
So as a mid-range free kick, the Glory's answer. Sutton using his left foot. The Adelaide defence are able to repel. Shamoon drops it back at the edge of the box. Pennington rises. Wooden was a presence, but ultimately the ball bounces harmlessly into the keeper's gloves. As we tick up to 20 minutes played, Adelaide just happy to own the ball at the moment. You see Suleimani charging and trying to run it down. And Selmo again showing real strength on the ball, and Wooden had a nibble and has been blown up for a foul.
Yeah, I really like the look of that battle going on tonight, Teo. Two big units having a crack. And it has sort of added a different dimension for Adelaide as well.
Kitto, first time ball. Jovanovic waited for it to arrive. And desperation from Timmins. Danger not yet averted because Piraeus is going to bring the ball under his control. He's got Ostler chasing him. Puts it back to White. And now Goodwin, the goal scorer. He's got Piraeus. Everything slows down to Cooley in acres of space in the middle of the pitch, calling for a cross-field pass, but it's not forthcoming. Now that space is occupied by the Perth midfield. Barnett working with Goodwin and Piraeus. And then no one on the same wavelength for that Barnett pass. The Adelaide players were all convinced that Goodwin got body checked as he tried to make a run, but the referee decides it's a throw-in.
It certainly looked like contact on that right-hand side, but you can see Cooley coming all the way back in to try and defend on the left-hand side when Piraeus is so high as well. And I think the last couple of games they've got themselves caught having too many players high and wide and not having that coverage, but it allows him to do that as well. Go and press really quickly from that blind side. So, yeah, different tactic for Cooley tonight. It's worked so far.
Smits roamed out of his area and then just shoots it keeper to keeper. Down to Matt Sutton at the other end. Here's Freeney. Timmins. Scott Wootton. Now Pennington. Sam Sutton. Takes 10 metres and fires a pass straight to the feet of Jay Barnett. Adelaide can repel, and through the right they will. Parias is quick, but he's not that quick to be able to chase down the pass.
Just such a weapon for Adelaide United. Parias, it's almost like you can't match him once he gets going. Just needed to thread that pass a little bit more in front or close to his body so he could get to it.
Given away by the Glory, but Adelaide not able to capitalise. Anselmo's pass missing Jovanovic. Freeney. Seen a triangle of Adelaide players, but was still able to find Timmins. And now he sets Pennington away. Pennington out in front of Shamoon. Adelaide defence is back in position though. Pennington looking for Lawrence and can't find him. The ball rolls down to the keeper.
It's a really nice interchange there. And great tracking back from Yaya Dakuli to try and help out Pennington. Looking for that danger man. Tom Lawrence, they need to get him on the ball a lot more. He seems to be the avenue towards goal.
And Andrioli punching on from the Adelaide touchline. I did mention pre-game there was no real discernible form line. Adelaide's most recent win away at HBF Park in their second to most recent visit, so it's not like they've been starved of success coming west in recent times. Smits and Selmo with strength and a good touch to Goodwin. Would it be fair to say, Eric, the greatest change that Anselmo provides is that Jovanovic, who normally is a bash and crash kind of striker, does not have to go and physically exhaust himself back to goal and can focus more of his energy on facing forward?
You read my mind. And there's only one way to try and get Anselmo off the ball, and that's it there. Kaltak letting him know right away that he's not going to hold the ball up anymore. He came straight through the back of him there. It was a little bit high as well.
Fortunate not to receive a card.
I've seen them given. But back to your point, Teo, I think you're absolutely spot on. Jovanovic, not just that, it's making him go and move off that target man, which means he has to change his game and be explosive and break the line a little bit more. So it's great to see that he's already identified that. Not many players, especially when they're young, can identify that early on. That's going to be a sore one, possibly maybe a bit of swelling on the knee, Teo.
Exactly where the problem is for Anselmo is being treated at present. Adam Griffiths and assistant coaches are all brainstorming at the moment. There's Andrioli having a chat with his goalkeeper Josh Smits. Smits is third behind his two centre-backs for completed passes so far in the game, so Adelaide have been patient, playing the ball out from the back at times tonight. Players seeing the opportunity to take a drink. And a proppy, but ultimately mobile Anselmo is able to walk himself to the sidelines and, for the sake of the spectacle of the game, hopefully continue, not just from an Adelaide point of view, because he has brought an intriguing dimension to the action so far.
Would you say he's the missing piece of the puzzle, Teo? Because I think Adelaide have needed a player through the middle that's not looking for passes, not looking to dribble. He's more of a hold-up player.
Come back to that in just a moment, because Dakuli here is going to rake this cross in, and in doing so No, he isn't. It did go beyond the line. Well, I mean, there were certainly eyebrows raised when Adelaide used a visa spot on a 36-year-old who hadn't been hugely prolific in his recent game time, Eric. And it's been a slow burn to get him ready. So he's already, as we see the offside call again here, he's already had a raised level of expectation due to his circumstances, it's safe to say. The one thing that, as you flagged earlier, Adelaide fans will be crying out for is a bit more consistency. Score first and win, concede first and lose. At least the trend might be in their favour tonight. Takuli robbed by Shamoon and then left a boot in. Advantage given. Freeney. Things opening up here for Perth. Freeney into the middle. Suleimani really clever and denied with a block at the last. Great defending by Jay Barnett, and Trent Ostler was very nearly in for A-League goal number 5.
It almost deserved a goal. It was really slick movement through the midfield, and it all started with Shamoon getting in there and copping a stud from Alagic on the way through. Thank you very much. And it just progressed from there. Great work from Suleimani to feed this one in right into the feet. It was there, Suleimani flicking it round the corner, and a great block in the end from Jay Barnett.
And a yellow card was given to Ethan Alagic for the foul. Here comes the resulting corner. And down at the near post, Kaltak had a presence. He's saying that he wasn't the last to touch it, and the ball finds its way out. So confirmation of the first yellow card of the game. Let's have another look at the corner. I think last touch of Pennington maybe there is the reason it was given as a goal kick. Daring Perth to press them here. Kikianis. Barnett. Play by White to recover his possession of the ball without sliding in and committing a foul. Alagic. Kiddo. Goodwin. Smith's able to pinpoint White. White's got plenty of Perth company in midfield, though, and the Glory win the ball back. Pennington through ball. Is there a grab on Lawrence? Home fans were hoping that Suleimani was infringed, but the referee takes no interest.
Well, I can't wait to see the replay on that one, Taya. That looked like there was contact, and did it start on the outside and continue all the way in? But that's what they're waiting for at the moment, Perth Glory. It looks as though they're sitting there not being able to try and match the possession stats, and they're getting themselves caught in those areas. But on the first press, if they can win it back, that's the option. That's the availability that they have with those forward runs now from Suleimani, from Tom Lawrence.
Takuli. Goodwin. Ivanovic, a quick head check before receiving the ball. Neat little sidestep. And the cross into the near post, and Anselmo sweeping it well wide. Here's another look at the penalty shout.
Well, it looked as though there wasn't a lot of contact in the end. Jay Barnett there. Ivanovic. That's good movement. That's what we're talking about. If somebody's not going to go to that near post, there's no point him operating. That's good work from Anselmo, recognising that he had to be the player at that first post this time. Well, here's that contact again. Well, it was hard to tell. Referee's in a great position to see if there was big enough contact to stop that, and that's a good decision.
Sutton's clearance right onto the chest of Lawrence, and now Sam Sutton trying to thread it for Ostler. He's able to clear. Freeney. Feels like Glory for the first time tonight have taken over general play. And now maybe a concerted build towards an equaliser. Referee's going to insist that Shamoon take the throw in where the ball went out, right in front of the Adelaide bench. Soleimani trying to flick on. From Shamoon there on DeCooley. Neatly captured by our cameras. Here's Shamoon. Finds Lawrence. And he sweeps it wide right.
And that is a hard one to control. Particularly the pace in which it was coming from Shamoon. Just whacked it in there and just controlled it with the studs expertly. That is not easy to do. Great control. And almost a good finish from Tom Lawrence. He is getting closer for the Glory.
Still plenty of time remaining in this first half, and Glory are on top. Possession, territory, and now chances all starting to come. Shamoon, Timmins. He's got two opponents with him, but he finds Pennington. Great touch, and Shamoon can't match the effort. Picked out Kikianis at the centre of defence when he really needed a teammate with that pass. And the ball is going to be sent long and out here for a goal kick off Sam Sutton.
You can't fault Perth Glory's effort and endeavour getting forward. It's just that final product. Can they slow themselves down and pick out the right pass for somebody inside the box? And that's all that's missing right now.
Nearly 2 months into the season, and back to Glory's 2-2 draw with Wellington in round 1, and the scorers Taggart and Jaden Kucharski. Neither of them playing tonight. Totally different looking forward line. Can it click? Pennington's long ball brings Ostler into the equation. He's a natural right footer, currently playing over on the left, Trent Ostler. Freeney. Here's Ostler, uses that right foot right on cue. Soleimani made a good run, nearly got to the ball first. White, around the shoulder, clears away. Glory not having to play at breakneck speed here to start asking questions of the Adelaide defence. Wooden, Sam Sutton. His pass to Lawrence, the step over. Timmins has got to work, can't get there before Anselmo, and well, I think both players knew that a foul was being committed long before the whistle went.
Experience from Anselmo, stepping back in that hole, and you can see Adelaide United have done a little bit more work on the training ground and getting back into that defensive shape. And we talked about them not being able to see games out, and once they've taken the lead, etc., etc. But you're away from home, you're 1-0 up. You've got to have those distances nice and close, particularly when Perth are starting to spray the ball around.
Caltax header, Pennington. Looping pass, Soleimani with it all to do against Kikianis. Now he's taking the ground. Sam Kelly waved it away immediately. Pennington charges in. Perth trying to defend from the front. I think he holds his nerve. However, Lawrence, and now the assistant referee is flagging. Free kick given.
Well, there's a couple of hands in natural positions here, shall we say. It was probably 6 1/2 both players touching the ball there with their hands. It was not anything to stop the game. But was there enough contact there from Kikianis to bring down Soleimani? Yes, both players have their arms Unless he puts his arms behind his back there, Teo, it's very difficult to get out of the way. And both players made contact.
Well, I think Perth players have seen it on the big screen, and that's why they're running to Sam Kelly now, saying, "Did you see it, ref? Did you see it?" But it's a difficult one. And then here was the foul that brought an end to proceedings. And in the aftermath, amongst the protesting, looks like Tom Lawrence has received a booking. So he becomes Glory's first player on a card, and he joins Ethan Allegich as the only other player in the game.
Well, you like to see that from your front players, particularly when you're chasing a game. Go and make yourself known into the opposition. Go and put a tackle in. Go and do something that sparks the play for Perth Glory. They're getting close on a couple of occasions, but it's about now keeping up that tempo before half-time. It's very, very important they get themselves back before the half-time whistle.
See Perth with triple the number of touches now in the opponent's penalty area. Can Adelaide take a bit of the oxygen out of the Glory's attack between now and the half-time whistle, though? Owning the ball like this will help. It's methodical, attempting to play it out of their defensive half.
Well, for the second week in a row, they have to chase the game. I think it was the 5th minute last week where Sydney scored against Perth, and then they had to try and get themselves back into the game. It was a bit of deja vu at HBF Park for the home side.
Smiths. Exactly where De Cooley was running. Now the afterburners are on here for Yaya De Cooley. He sees Goodwin, and Goodwin, well, he was perhaps in his shaping to shoot motion before the ball even arrived. Unless he had it nicked off his toes by Shamoon. He's not even had too many touches of the ball since scoring the goal, it must be said, Craig Goodwin, but he is the decisive player out there on the pitch at the moment. Kikianis, Kiddo. Here is Goodwin. He throws his head back in disappointment as he coughs up possession.
There's good mix and match from the away side at the moment. You can see De Cooley swapping over that side and getting in that pocket of space, and the Perth Glory midfielders not picking those sorts of movements up. And it's only going to be a matter of time before we see a De Cooley, an Anselmo or a Goodwin running free with nobody on them.
White couldn't nutmeg Freeney, but the ball still spills to Goodwin. And through force of will, he's been able to find Anselmo, who sweeps it out to Jovanovic, who's gone wide. De Cooley waits in the middle. Jovanovic. Anselmo. Kikianis. Couldn't quite find his way to Goodwin. Shamoon, Freeney and Pennington back to Caltac. Into the last 5 minutes of regulation then in the first half, with Adelaide holding a 1-0 lead. Sam Sutton. Now Lawrence's diagonal ball. Pennington brings it down. Leaves it with Shamoon. Pennington. And he's fouled. Shooting range free kick here, and Ryan White can protest, but they've got a good opportunity.
That was very naive from Ryan White. Pennington spinning and moving and using his body really well just to draw that foul in. 2 arms around the back, and all he had to do was go down. That's what Ayrton Andreoli's saying. He didn't need to foul there. Gives Perth a great opportunity here.
Sam Sutton making just his second appearance for his new club, the Glory, here. Produce a free kick that draws the home side level. Only one in the wall, so Sutton will be looking for a teammate. It slides to the back post, and Lawrence volleys it into the gloves of Smith. And Josh Smits hasn't had a huge amount of work to do in a saving sense. It's mainly been clearing and distributing so far in this first half.
Well, he has made the most saves in the competition, Teo. He's been not as well protected as I think Andrioli would have liked, and it's been the soft ones at him, potentially why he's been making a couple of saves here and there. But yeah, he just thought there with Tom Lawrence. Choice of technique, tried to go for placement and put it across the goal. I would have thought he would have smacked that one with his laces.
$11 total shots in the game. Smith's leaving it right until the last second to clear. Anselmo's flick header on, a really good one. De Cooley has got 3 Glory defenders in pursuit, but he's quick and he goes to ground. And the referee points to the spot. Yaya De Cooley draws a penalty from Matthew Sutton. A yellow card out of the pocket as well. Adelaide have a chance to double their lead.
The theme of the first half is that ball into the big man, the big Brazilian Anselmo, who's been holding things up, but this time decides to flick it around and ask a question or two, and it was De Cooley identifying the space and the time yet again, and he drew out Matt Sutton with that pace. Look at him go through 3 or 4 players, take the contact and go down. This is going to be a great opportunity now for Adelaide to pile on the pressure at HBF Park.
Craig Goodwin, who has the only goal of the night, has put the ball on the spot. Perth is still protesting any questions at all over the penalty, Eric Parnell.
I think he was coming in at speed and he got a touch on the ball and contact was made. It looked pretty simple from where we were, and all those actions at high speed, of course, are very difficult to tell for the referee, and thankfully we have VAR checking.
VAR checking and saying the referee's decision stands. It's a penalty kick. And it's Adelaide's chance to go 2 in front in the last minute of the first half. Craig Goodwin, a deep breath at the penalty spot. A stutter step run up for Goodwin, saved by Sutton. And now White with the follow-up, it's cleared away. A team-lifting moment for the Glory.
Oh, would you believe it? He just gambled and saved with his legs. Goodwin tried to go down the middle, and that's exactly what you do as a goalkeeper. Just dangle the leg. Anything can happen.
We've ticked into 2 additional minutes at the end of the first half. Glory, can they harness this energy? They've got enough time to go for the equaliser before the break. On the link up from Sutton to Lawrence, nearly stuck. Adelaide would be wise perhaps to slow things down here while Perth hearts are pumping.
Oh, I'm very surprised with the penalty, Teo, going down the middle, and potentially, if you're going to do that, put a little bit more pace on it, a bit higher even, and that's always the risk when you go down the middle, is the goalkeeper can throw a leg out at the last moment. It was a super save from Matt Sutton.
Through comes Timmins, free kick, chance for Perth to get some numbers forward here. This could be the big finish to the first half that the home side are hoping for. Timmins is arguing about the number of fouls that Adelaide have given away. It's very on brand for the Grinch to not be clapping and cheering in the middle of that vocal shed.
What is going on?
So, final seconds of 2 additional minutes at the end of the first half. Can Glory find parity before the break? Tom Lawrence stands over the free kick. Adelaide with plenty of numbers back defending. Lawrence, well, straight into the keeper's airspace, and that was catching practice for Josh Smits. And that should take the Reds to half-time with a 1-0 lead that could have been 2. And Perth, for all of the advancements they made through the half, if anything, are fortunate to only go in one down. But it does feel as though they are building to something. Craig Goodwin doesn't look the slightest bit rattled by having missed or having had that penalty saved. It is his goal that's the difference. And Perth Glory still in need of answers. At half-time, it's Perth Glory 0, Adelaide United 1. So plenty to come on the other side of the break. We'll go through all the action in this Isuzu UTE A-League clash. Stay with us.
With the Isuzu UTE SUV, everyday life doesn't have to be everyday. More how you live in the Isuzu UTE.
Please welcome back the Buzz Perth Glory dancers.
Welcome back to the Hungry Jacks halftime show. Plenty of action coming up from Perth and Adelaide from the west in the second half. Let's take a look at a game taking place tomorrow. Andy Harper and Grace Gill. The Knicks up against the Mariners. The Phoenix, an interesting story at the moment, and they seem to be really languishing near the bottom of the table. Some big problems for Giancarlo Italiano, who all impressed us early on in his tenure there at the Phoenix, but has some issues right now.
Well, I don't know where Wellington go. Giancarlo has turned the way the game he wants his team to play. Whatever the impulses for that, when they made the finals, they had better players playing a more conservative style of football and did a great job. They've lost those good players, they've pushed higher up the field, and there are times when it just does not look like it is working. And you bring into focus the loss against Newcastle last week, and that sort of sums it up. I really don't know where they go. They've got good enough players to get out of this. Maybe they meet the Mariners at a good time, who are themselves got a whole heap of structural issues going on there at the moment. Who knows? This is a total roll of the dice, this one.
That's an insistence on a certain playing style from Chiefy, and they're vastly different playing styles, the Mariners and Wellington, but they have a very similar form line in terms of what they've been able to produce this season. I think it's going to be a really interesting arm wrestle. I don't think it's going to be particularly high scoring. I don't know how this one's going to land, Garby.
Yeah. The Mariners, I think at times this season have shown they can match it with anyone, but they don't quite, do they? And they have little lapses. I guess they're a young side. Afternoon, the Phoenix need a win badly, and the Mariners will fancy doing what the Jets did over there in New Zealand. And on Tuesday night, Melbourne City and Macarthur face off at Amy Park. Andy and Grace, it's a bit of a catch-up game because of their exploits in Asia. Macarthur in a tricky spot at the moment, a bit of a lull under Miller Stajovski, a bit of a challenge for him to get things going again. Flying
in Asia, struggling at home, struggling because they can't score goals, and that's going to bedevil them until that doesn't change. I'm not sure if Melbourne City is a great team to have to confront when you've got a goal-scoring problem. Nevertheless, I think having the Friday game against Brisbane, with all that means, and then being able to get on a plane and get into that camp mentality, pre-game rituals, travelling to the stadium by yourself, a good stadium, not that Campbelltown's not beautiful playing surface, but there's everything around Melbourne City which might just evoke a greater effort in front of goal. They've certainly got the capacity, but they've got a couple of gaps. And I just think being on the road is a real positive for them in this, because I'm going to say this, you know, a lot of coaches and players talk about we've got to turn our home ground into a fortress, and they're weasel words. I don't even think people know what they're saying, what they mean when they say it, because there's not a lot of evidence from it from time to time. Getting away from that, even temptation, away from home, you can just focus on the game that's coming up, albeit a very difficult opponent, might just suit Macarthur, but they've got to get a wriggle on. They just cannot keep dragging the chain in front of goal the way they have been.
Yeah, exactly that. And I think we talk a lot about a team like Melbourne Victory, who haven't recruited well into players that have departed. I think the same says for Macarthur. They haven't replaced a Marin Yakalish, a Valère Germain, a Jed Drew. They haven't got those kind of out-and-out goal-scoring players, and I don't think we can really, you know, hang our hat on a Harry Sawyer who's been in the A-League for all of 18 months. So I think they really need to find a recognised striker in the January transfer window. Melbourne City will be going into the game, though, off the back of a derby. So is there a little bit of a mental drop-off potentially, considering what goes through the players mentally and physically in a derby? Maybe that's something that Macarthur can take advantage of. That's on Tuesday night at Amy Park. We look forward to that, as we do the second half from the west between Perth and Adelaide. Here are all the highlights from the first half.
Thank you to Daniel Garb. There is a look at the Glory fans in the shed, and they'll be hoping that the team can launch a second half comeback so that they can have a Merry Christmas. Eric Partaloo, as you join me here to go through the Harvey Norman highlights, it was the quality of Craig Goodwin after a bit of improvisation to get the assist from Yaya Dukulu.
Yeah, just opened up for Craig Goodwin, and we know how dangerous he can be with his left foot from distance, from the edge of the box, from anywhere. Craig Goodwin got us off to an absolute flyer, and the home side conceded again within the first 15 minutes of a game this year. That's their 5th time. It took a deflection, yes, but it was right in the corner, which gave Matt Sutton absolutely no chance. Look at the little fade spinning away there as well.
I mean, that angle makes it look like it was so far outside the right-hand post as well. So this is later in the half. Anselmo with the flick header on Yaya Dukulu. Look at that, 3 players closing in on him, but that touch, that burst of speed, and then he's brought down by Matt Sutton. He's in the book, but he stepped up and used his feet to make an excellent penalty save.
It was absolutely brilliant from Sutton, and that keeps Perth Glory in the contest. Had that have gone in, we might be having a different conversation here at half-time.
So that's the action. Let's look at the underlying numbers. Adelaide United, I mean, you get 0.8 for a XG for a penalty, whether you score it or not. So, Eric, they're shading a number of categories, but it did feel like Perth were building into the game for the last 10 minutes of the half.
Adelaide's got to be very careful that they do not concede a goal. They've got to go out and fight and get themselves their second.
So those are the team stats. How about some individuals? The Paramount Plus player index at halftime. The goal scorer's top. Interesting that Josh Smith is second. I find the player index tends to love passing more so than any other statistic, because he hasn't had to make too many saves, has he?
Well, no, he hasn't. I would have had Anselmo on that list as well. But here's Craig Goodwin. He's been great value in this half again. And, you know, he's playing more of a free role tonight and getting forward. He had that early opportunity, which really set him up mentally to go and score that goal that he did. But he's in the middle, he's on the right, he's on the left, and he's finding little pockets of space. He's been brilliant tonight. So
Craig Goodwin didn't look too perturbed about having the penalty saved right on half-time. We'll see if he can double his tally in the second half. He's the only goal scorer at present, and that has been your Hungry Jacks half-time show. Don't forget, March 1st, it's the start of the AFC Women's Asian Cup, and you can watch it all right here where you're watching tonight's game on Paramount+.
1, 2, 3, best believe I got something up my sleeve. I'm a queen and I'm coming for my throne. Should've known your days were numbered. It's my turn, watch and learn. Oh, I say that's incredible! Want to learn, 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 want to learn. It's my turn, want to learn.
Visit dreamcarrental.au for Perth's best deals on prestige and luxury car rentals. Get ready to cheer just like Liberty supports the A-Leagues. They're on your team too. Whether you're planning a holiday or buying a new home, they can provide the assist you need to keep your free-thinking goals. Liberty, loans for free thinkers. Kick off your investment journey with eToro. Invest in stocks, ETFs and crypto all in one app. And start chasing your investment goals today. Join over 14 million users worldwide. eToro, proud sponsor of the A-Leagues. AFSL 391139, capital at risk, CPDS and TMD.
Say hello to the Ninja Slushy, the easy, convenient way to make frozen drinks fun. No ice means no watered down drinks. No blending means smooth, perfect texture. Just pour up, slush, and enjoy. 5 one-touch programs for any drink you want. Transform almost anything. Enjoy perfect results every time. You can make it with the Ninja Slushy.
Live pictures from HBF Park, where at half-time of this Isuzu UTE A-League fixture, Luke Duzel is coming on for Adelaide, and the man he's come on for is the Brazilian target man, Anselmo, who has had to leave the game at half-time. George the Glory Gorilla is having fun with the travelling Adelaide fans. Good to see the Christmas spirit is putting the rivalry aside for now. This is a big change, and as the ball is delivered back out to the centre for the second half, It's coming out at such a speed, Eric Pardley, that I might have a chance to ask you what you make of the change with Anselmo coming off.
It's a real shame because he was a point of difference, I think, for Adelaide United, but he hasn't played a lot of minutes, 45. What we saw of him was very, very exciting, and hopefully that knock that he took as well isn't going to be so serious. But they look now to have Alagic, Duzell and Ryan White in that midfield three.
So Duzell, who'd been prolific in terms of his game time up until tonight, he's got plenty of minutes in the legs, so 45 minutes spurred for him. It's all about what the Glory can do as the home side. They're attacking towards the shed in the second half. Can they launch a comeback, or as we kick off the second half, will it be a similar story to previous home games where when they've conceded first, they haven't been able to engineer a comeback? Adelaide leading 1-0 via Craig Goodwin's goal. All of the energy and momentum of a penalty save right at the end of the first half from Matt Sutton. Will that sustain here for the Glory out of the sheds at the start of the second half? Here's a long ball from Jay Barnett. And there is the man of the moment, Matthew Sutton. He's the 100 gamer, his namesake Sam Sutton. Caltack to Pennington. Brian Caltack with a long ball. Arian Suleimani leading the line tonight in the absence of both Adam Taggart and Jaden Kucharski. Not able to chase that long ball down.
Well, it's something they're going to have to look for as well. There's not too often you see Adelaide United leaving space in behind because they start low in their build-up. And even if they win the ball back here, that defensive line isn't high enough to play it over the top. So Perth Glory need to play these sorts of passes into feed and combine a little bit better.
Adelaide with the chance to build. Alagic knew that Parias was getting forward down the right. Back to Ethan Alagic. Now Duzell. Barnett and Kikianis. Adelaide have gone all the way back to their goalkeeper, Josh Smith, albeit standing well outside his penalty area, directing traffic for Alagic. You can see the team lineups appearing at the base of your screens. Adelaide on the move, breaking forward. A shot from Alagic, just wide right. He nearly doubled his season tally right there with that attempt.
Well, I can't explain how important it is for a midfielder to turn and face forward and drive forward with the ball. It opened up for Alagic, as it did for Craig Goodwin in the same position in that first half of the match. But Alagic has been so good this year. It's about the touches, about his involvement, but he can do that as well, go from one end all the way to the other.
So first 2.5 minutes have belonged to Adelaide. With Glory hoping to find a spark again. Took them the best part of 35 minutes to wrestle their way on top in general play through that first half. Pennington looping it to Tom Lawrence. Great control to bring the ball to ground. Lawrence, two opponents on his tail, and the ball is cleared away. Ostler able to bring the ball under his control, and then long ball straight back down to Sutton. Will Freeney. With Sam Sutton and now Trent Ostler. Freeney continues his run. Gets the ball before Barnett. And he may have had it in his mind to win a corner as soon as he took possession. And that's exactly what he did. There's a look at Anselmo, and he's got a big ice bandage on the opposite leg to the one that he got kicked. Here was the incident in the first half. That's his right knee. That big ice bandage is on his left thigh.
Yeah, it could be his left groin. Could have been just a previous injury or something that's been bothering him as well.
Here's the corner from Lawrence. Great defensive header. Kikianis read it beautifully and is able to flick the ball through the box over to the touchline on the opposite side. And Glory will have a throw in. They have a long throw specialist. Shamoon is not going to take a run up here. Pennington. Oh, he's left a boot in here on White. However, the referee's seen it the other way. Glory free kick. Maybe the replays will tell us more.
Well, maybe he's got a little push from Craig Goodwin just there before he made contact. Got pushed into Ryan White. Is this the opening for the home side? It's in a great position.
Just like the end of the first half, Sam Sutton, the left footer, has been asked to whip it into the box. Smith's very expressively instructing his defence in the setup. One-man wall is Craig Goodwin. Here comes Sutton with the free kick. Kaltak. Well, he rose highest, but didn't generate the power. Adam Griffiths prowling his technical area, goes and resumes his seat on the bench. He was excited for that opportunity, and we're going to have a delayed whistle here as Ryan White is sent sprawling in midfield.
Just Tom Lawrence getting stuck in there. Kaltak, he's just got such a great leap on him, and I think he can direct that towards goal a lot better. That was almost a free header from that replay.
Well, I mean, he's headed it into Kikianis, and that's why there's no sting on it, as it really deflects into the gloves of Smits.
Well, the ball didn't have enough pace on it, and that's what you want from that area. It's almost the slightest of touches for that to go in, rather than trying to generate some power.
Arias was trying to generate a bit of pace, but Trent Ostler matched him step for step, so Adelaide reset. Kikianis, a floating ball, back out to Arias, and he's not able to control it. Instead of the MacArthur cowbells, we've got the Christmas bells tonight, ringing in the crowd. Freeney. So now looks to take the game on, pushes it wide to the left. Ostler. Sutton. Glory testing the wings. Now Shamoon's turn over on the right. Pennington. Soleimani's going to feel increasingly isolated if that's the way Perth try to find him. Sam Sutton. He's got Ostler wide to his left. He wants to push it into the middle. It's a promising run from Lawrence. He keeps his feet, bending it towards Shamoon. Shamoon has to duck out of the penalty area. Charbel Shamoon biding his time. Callum Timmins now. Adelaide making a defensive stand here, insisting that Glory find the killer ball to unlock them. Freeney, can he be the man? Wooten to Lawrence. Tom Lawrence, a couple of decoy runners, open space. Lawrence, really good save by Smits. That was travelling from the Welshman, and it exploded off the gloves of Smits as he parried away.
This is Adam Griffiths' ball at its finest. We can see a direct link between what they were doing before and what they're doing now. It's very, very purposeful. They're looking to get forward, and somehow Smits just slapped one away. That one was for the cameras, but that was moving from Tom Lawrence.
Really good signs for Glory. And sometimes those decoy runners are so telegraphed that the defenders don't follow them. But on that occasion, they genuinely dragged a bit of space at the top of the box there for Lawrence to have an open shot. And now the glory might be on again. Bullocking work from Freeney, not quite able to set Suleimani away. Exchange of headers. A little trust there from Dazelle as to where Barnett was positioned.
I think for the Perth Glory, there's a lot of effort going on in that final third. Just, you can see it, it's at that early stages for Adam Griffiths and that front line trying to now connect with a little bit more finesse. And they're almost operating singularly at the moment, and they're not playing with each other as Adelaide do so well on the final third with those rotations, with the way that they like to pass the ball. If they can get it right, they were close on a couple of occasions, but they cannot allow Adelaide now to come out of their own half. Keep pressing, keep putting that pressure on.
Kikianis right up the middle. Wooten leans into the header, and then a tunnelling effort there from Freeney to take out Aligic as he was mid-leap. And the referee does indeed pay the free kick.
It's just good to see Perth Glory in a more advanced position, Taya. And if you think back to the Zulich era, they played a different way, yes, and need to try and change something, yes. But it was almost a sit-in and wait and counter-attacking approach. But now here at home, it's this.
Aligic bit off more than he could chew that time. Pennington, and the ball breaks straight. Just needed a bit more shape on it. Pennington's arguing that Suleimani should have been running into the space where that pass was knocked. Smiths over the head of Piraeus. Well and truly. An apology from the goalkeeper. See, almost 12 minutes ticked by in this second half, and Perth have taken over a number of the statistical categories. So Adelaide may have been brighter immediately out of the rooms, but the patterns we were seeing at the end of the first half have re-established. Ostler hustles to keep the ball in. Barnett clears only as far as Freeney. Good touch to bring it out of the air. He sees Lawrence, and now Timmins. It's Callum Timmins. Can't cut it back to a teammate. Piraeus clears.
Well, you would have loved to have seen Callum Timmins there just have a shot himself. Did such nice work to get himself into that position, but it's all Perth Glory at the moment. They can't get a ball on the pitch quick enough, the home side. They've got two now.
Callum Timmins hasn't scored for 3.5 years in the A-League, Eric, so it would have been a surprise had he popped up for career goal number 5. Here he is on the ball in more familiar territory. Midfield. Wooden, early ball. Ostler in pursuit. Again, he wants to use his right foot, and he does. Lawrence controlled a very difficult pass, and now he's got it on a string here. Ostler has to use his left, and he wins a corner for his trouble.
I mean, you could play the ball to Tom Lawrence's throat and he'd still have a good first touch. He's that good for Perth Glory. Just get the ball to him and he will manufacture something.
Now he has a corner. Kikianis was really good in the air on the last one. Lawrence, can he find a teammate? It's over all and sundry. Pennington knows that had he just been a step further back, he could have potentially got that for a squaring header, but instead it sails out. And now we're going to see activity on the sidelines. Kwan Yo is coming on, and the very, very late addition to the bench, Giovanni De Abreu, is going to be coming on as well. Callum Timmins, who was the late inclusion, if you've only joined us at half-time. Reece Bozanovsky was withdrawn from the matchday squad after the warm-up. So it means that Giovanni De Abreu, Perth local, is on and into the action. Here's Perez. And he's down, and he's signalling to the sideline. The referee's going to whistle play dead, so a real worry here for Adelaide. Dylan Perez, he does have a history of injury. When you're a pace and power player like him, you do test your muscles, but this is pure impact.
Wow. Welcome, D'Abreu. That's a solid challenge. He was not holding back. And he thought, if this is going to be my first tackle of the evening, I'm not going to take a backward step. That's a solid challenge.
Not just welcome to the evening, welcome to the A-League for Giovanni D'Abreu.
Well, I don't think he was expecting that. Perez. He's had a good game tonight, up and down that flank. He's made his own on the right-hand side for Adelaide. Hope this is not too serious for him. And holding that knee potentially just, well, it was a physical challenge.
So there is the surprise debutant. D'Abreu, I mentioned that he was a former Australia under-17 international a couple of years ago. He's 18 now. He's got a bit of South African heritage and Portuguese as well. And so, in this delay, let's take a look back to the only goal of the game so far, which separates these two teams. In the first half, it was Craig Goodwin.
Who else? And it just opened up, and if they're watching this back on the video this week, the Perth Glory, they'll be really disappointed that nobody goes towards him and allows him this amount of room. Scored at a World Cup, of course, scored many goals across his career, and he's added another one in the A-League tonight. He could have had two.
So we're just beyond the hour mark, and the stretcher has been called for Dylan Perez, so this is not good. Game number 155 of his career tonight for the 25-year-old, who has been well-travelled. Melbourne City, Western Sydney Wanderers, a bit of time at Western United, and he has been taken out by this foul. Other Adelaide outfielders available. Panache Madana might be the most likely replacement as a wide player. Here's another look at the tackle.
Well, you hate to see it. And is it the ankle or the knee? I think it's the right knee. It looks like, yeah, it straightens. What's the right knee? Straightens there. That's not good.
That replay is the one, isn't it?
Was it from the force or him trying to get out of the way? Either way, it does not look good. It's so unfortunate.
So, which lever will Adelaide pull in order to replace Dylan Perez? Other outfielders, in addition to Madana, are Juan Muniz, who's gone to the bench tonight. Fabian Taladera is a left-sided wide player. Got the young attacker Amlani Tatu, and potential debutant Vinko Stanisic as well. My thoughts are with Dylan Perez, though. It's just that extra aggravating factor to suffer a potentially serious injury away from home. And when you're in Perth, you are a long way from home.
Just don't think he was expecting the pace and the physicality of the challenge. I don't think anybody was.
Well, this is a bold move here from Ayrton Andrioli. He is going to turn to 18-year-old debutant Vinko Stanisic to come on. We'll get to his background and history in football in a moment when he enters the game. Right now it's 11 versus 10. And even in spite of the amount of time that it took to treat Dylan Perez, they've had to wait until now. So here comes Vinko Stanisic, his history including the South Australian NTC, FK Beograd, Adelaide Comets, and most recently, before he signed for the Adelaide United Academy, he was at Adelaide Olympics. So a proud moment for him. He makes his A-League debut, and congratulations to the young man.
Yeah, it's great to see, and he's got a job to do straight away on this right-hand side for Adelaide. Will one goal be enough? Will he try and get forward, as we've seen Dylan Parias do so often from that position. And I think for Adelaide right now, it's about trying to regain some sort of control.
I'm sure there are a few, as we see a foul here for the Glory, a few NSL nostalgics who will be thrilled to see a Vinko back in the National League, Eric, and of course Vinko Buljubasic back in the NSL days.
How old are you, Teo?
I'm in my 30s.
So am I, just.
Kiddo makes the interception. Here's Duzel. So a real halt in the game's flow as Parias was treated. Who's going to switch back on the quicker here? So often tonight we've seen that exact situation. Adelaide daring Perth to press, and then Smits picks his moment right at the last to clear. Stanisic to White. Now back to Smits, a little bit hastier to clear this time. Is he going to meet his mark? He does find DeCooley against the line, and now DeCooley, that ball's going to stay in. It's there to be won against Caltac. Good hustle from the Adelaide player, but ultimately it is a Perth throw.
There was some restraint there from Brian Caltac. Thought he was going to go all the way into that tackle and spark something else for Perth Glory. That's a great pass from Sutton.
It is Sutton to Sutton, the link up here. Now on the ball is Kwan Yo. Freeney just trying to keep the ball under duress. And it's well done by Ivanovic to nick it away. He sends it through for Duzel. Adelaide have to throw in, and they've just got the answers at the moment, it seems.
Another controlled situation. Caltac making the right decision. And yeah, you're right, Teo. For Adelaide now, it's keeping this field position. They can keep the ball and they can attract Perth Glory into that first line of press. But what's happened to the middle to the front at the moment hasn't been that connection or those sorts of movements. And I think it's because Perth Glory have got their distances together and they are going and asking more of a question. But the momentum seems to be out of the game at the moment. They've got to find an opportunity to spark themselves back into life.
You've called it, because you can hear the restlessness in the crowd. A few more individual voices cutting through, and generally more groans and jeers as the fans hope that Glory can re-find their sniff of the game. Here's a cross from Sutton. Shamoon was the final player in line there, unable to get a touch on the ball. To Cooley, potentially risky pass, all the way back to the goalkeeper. Smits has been safe passage out of defence so far tonight. This one just straight onto the head of Wooden on the halfway line. Freeney. Shamoon. Tucks it inside for Deabreu. It's clear who Adam Griffiths is shouting to. Kwa, get it to Kwa, no. Here he is on the ball. The step over, the burst of speed. And then a looping cross back to Shamoon. Deabreu. Shamoon. Now Lawrence. Caltac. Battle for possession at the edge of the box, and Adelaide able to clear.
Well, it's good to see Perth trying to get Kwano on the ball. He hasn't played a lot of minutes across the 3 appearances he's had, but he leads the side in dribbles, and here he is again.
They're feeding him the ball at every opportunity at the moment. The fresh legs, that's a clever pass. And Pennington, maybe it was too clever for Pennington there. He had to really strain to try and keep it in. Adelaide just kicking the ball away whenever they can at the moment with no real set plan. They're just trying to get a bit of relief for their defence at present. Perth are starting to turn up the heat, but can they turn it into shots? I've seen the one Tom Lawrence stinger that was saved well by Josh Smits earlier in the half, but for the most part tonight he hasn't actually been put through a whole heap of work. Suleimani. Not to no one in particular, but it's going to deflect kindly. Lawrence. Second time of asking, and again Kiddo in the way. Shamoon only was presented with a little bit of a gift, but on a tight angle it was always hard to keep it down.
They're a side in doubt at the moment, Adelaide United, coming off the back of 3 losses. You sort of lose that confidence level in your side that when you get to this point away from home, you start looking at the clock. We start looking at, do we need to go forward? Can we just get by with the 1 goal? And I think they're in that frame of mind at the moment. They're unsure which button to press.
Cooley. And a bobbling pass. Can't find Jovanovic. Adelaide readying a double sub, so you're on the same wavelength perhaps as the sideline, Eric, because they don't want it to go on like this for another 20 minutes plus stoppage time. No, did he keep it in? He did not. -19-year-old is making his 24th appearance tonight, but they have entirely been as a substitute, and it is just his 4th opportunity so far this season. We have mentioned the size of Glory's squad in the context of how many are missing with injury. There are also plenty of fit players who can't make the Glory bench at the moment. Pennington. Suleimani. Really nice step over there from Shamoon. Pennington blocked away. Sam Sutton follows up. Lifts across to the penalty spot. Headed away by DeCooley. Shamoon had to lunge out to chase his own first touch. Alagic sets it out in front of Ryan White. And White, that's a veteran move from the youngster there. He was able to draw a foul. And that will give Adelaide a bit of time on the ball. Will it be his last act of the game, though? That's the question. The board is up. Craig Goodwin's night is done. He'll come off for Amlani Tatu. And also Panache Madana is going to enter the game. And it's going to be Luka Jovanovic who makes way. So a couple of Adelaide's attackers. And when you flagged that they might have a decision to make about whether or not 1 is enough, this might be an indicator that they believe it is.
Well, you've got to try and break the game up into these little phases, and what the substitutions do just allows the team to get a breath, to recalculate, recalibrate. And as you can see, the players are in no hurry to get off here. They need this victory more than ever.
So Madana on for his 6th appearance of the season, and Amlani Tatu, the 17-year-old, only 71 career minutes in the A-League. So to come on for a little chunk of 18 like this, it's a lot of faith in him. He's only played the 27 minutes in 1 sub-appearance so far this season. He's a prodigious talent, though, so I'm sure there'll be an element of looking to stretch the defence on the counter-attack for the young man wearing the number 74. In the meantime, Perth want to keep the ball down at their attacking end. Shamoon. And an easy catch for Smits.
Yeah, no shape on the cross. It was more hit with hope more than anything, just to try and get something in the box. And that's, again, where Perth Glory are coming from, where they have to try and evolve. And what probably Adam Griffiths is thinking right now is, you know, how much can I change this team? Where are they right now, and where do they have to go and to get to start putting results and games back to back and getting goals as well?
Arian Suleimani coming off, Adam Bugaria coming on. Suleimani, a couple of siders in the first half and then switched out to the right flank as the second half went on. And Bugaria, the 20-year-old, again, he's been limited this season, only the 53 minutes of game time, and it's just his 3rd appearance as a sub. So he's on with a chance to do something for the Glory. In that number 21 shirt, he'll be sitting seemingly in the number 10 role behind Tom Lawrence, who's gone to centre forward. Here's Freeney. Kaltak and Wooden. Now Sam Sutton. Pennington. Wooden. Sutton, moment of truth for the Glory. Can they find the right pass? Oh, it's nearly in for an own goal. Yaya DeCooley has volleyed it out for a corner. I don't think Smith's got a touch. The ball just kept rising over the bar.
Well, we saw an own goal from Cam Burgess this morning across to the UK. That was almost very similar, except with the foot this time. Just the body shape for DeCooley, but at least he got back into those areas.
I know it's 1:15 a.m. Auckland time, but I wonder if Callan Elliott was watching, hoping that one might nestle in the net as well. Here comes the corner, and a good defensive header away by Stanisic. The debutant here is going to will himself onto the ball and find Tatu. Can he keep it in? Great hustle, but De Abreu is able to get back and match him.
You can hear the crowd getting a bit restless now, just wanting to get the ball forward a bit quicker, and you're almost thinking that Tom Lawrence playing through the middle, it's not wasted because you want him on the end of plays, but he's such a good player technically to start things off as well, and not having a guy like Taggart up there with a little bit more quality in the final third, perhaps they're missing just someone else alongside him to help him out.
Pennington with a looping ball. It's all Adelaide in the penalty spot. Stanisic again wins the header. Now Madana, he's robbed of the ball. De Abreu looks right at home in the A-League. Just Giovanni De Abreu. Shamoon played it into a 50-50. Bugaria can't get his first touch of the game. Sutton crimping further and further forward with every touch is the left back, and Freeney can't keep possession, can't win a corner.
They're holding on, the away side. They're just watching Perth Glory play in front of them at the moment. That's why it's become the way it has. And as long as they stay in front of them, they're only going to be able to shoot from distance. They've been pretty good tonight, Adelaide.
Adam Griffiths keeping his cool. A little pop of the eyebrows there. Other Adelaide players, if indeed they are dropping anchor to get to the finish line on the bench. Juan Muñiz, the 33-year-old Spanish midfielder. Fabian Taladera, left-sided player who's spent plenty of time at left back. Those are the others that they can turn to. And Juan, no, can't keep possession here. As for the Glory, they've got Riley Fox, who's a defender. Gabriel Popovic, who is a striker, hasn't played in the A-League since 2020, though. He's been on the bench a couple of times. And Josh Risdon, the veteran right back. So I do wonder which card may be played next by either of the two benches. As we tick towards the final 10 minutes of regulation time. Great pass coming from Lawrence. Pennington is going to shoot from way out. I think he saw that no one was getting forward through the right channel, so he thought, why not?
Certainly worth a crack. It opened up nicely for the Perth Glory's leading scorer. He's got a couple this year, almost added a third. But that's comfortable. Still, for Josh Schmitz, just to watch that one fly over his bar. They've still got the confidence now to signal that they're going to start to play out, and they do. Adelaide, they want to try one more time.
Madana, great touch. He's able to break into the attacking third. Who's he got in support? Tatu. Has Ryan White there as well. Now Alagic. DeCooley. DeCooley able to create half a yard of space. And now he fashions across, but oh, surprise, Jay Barnett was waiting in the middle. And now an overarm throw from Sutton. Can Glory capitalise on a stretched game here? No. And now Freeney. Adelaide's midfield settles back into position behind the ball. Abreu. Oh, and he's missed Shamoon with the pass.
I've been really impressed with Yaya Dakouli's positioning tonight, Teo, in terms of his attacking play, got himself that assist and won the penalty, but it's his desire and hunger that's changed. You can see in the original rivalry he was starved of the ball, wasn't getting into the game, but this game positionally, he's done everything that his manager's asked of him.
Madana sets Tatu away. Amlani Tatu, and he's been chased down there. Brian Kaltak. Oh, young, fresh sub coming off the bench, Amlani Tatu, but it's the veteran Kaltak who mowed him down.
Desperate times and desperate measures right now for Perth Glory. Everybody out of position trying to get themselves forward. There's not a lot of time. King Kaltak to the rescue.
Still with the ball down the right end as far as they're concerned. White. So the arrival of Stanisic has moved Jay Barnett out to the right side. Madana, oh, he led foot first here, and it's going to be a card. The question is what colour? My goodness, could that change things? A red card for Panache Madana. Adelaide are down to 10 men for the final 9 minutes plus stoppage time.
This is the danger in modern football, is that you can no longer lift your leg unless you know what's in and around you. You can't throw it looking at the ball and your body going one way and your foot the other. Just a little bit of inexperience there. I hope it doesn't cost Adelaide United all 3 points here.
And the 21-year-old Panache Madana is sent off. Eugene Galekovic and Craig Goodwin first out to console the youngster as he makes the walk down the tunnel. And Andrioli remains cross-armed in the technical area. Well, Madana was playing as a forward, so you imagine that what was a compact Adelaide formation doesn't change a great deal behind the ball. It's now just Amlani Tatu up there to fend for himself. Will Perth be buoyed by the fact that they are a player up for the remainder of the game, assuming they don't get a red card themselves? Will it open any additional gaps? Freeney. No. And now Sam Sutton. Deflected away by Kikianis, and then a sliced volley out. Of all the players to fall to, Giovanni De Abreu, I do remember him scoring from the top of the box for the Australia under-17s. It's a very different story in the Senior A-League, though.
This was very similar to the ending we saw against Sydney FC. Perth Glory getting to the final third, not having cutting edge, not getting things on target. A lot of food for thought. Frustration, really, now for Adam Griffiths. But the plan B, what's the plan B now? Because they're a man up to their advantage, and they've got at least 10 minutes to try and find something. Will we see something different?
Kaltak leaping into a header, but it falls neutral. Freeney, Wooden, Shamoon. The question is, how daring do Perth want to be repositioning players? Do they want to keep the defence that they've had when it was 11 versus 11, or do they want to sacrifice a number and send someone forward? No. And now Sutton. Quagno. Sutton in space. Drives across. And Bugaria's header slides out for a goal kick.
I just needed a little bit more communication there. Pennington is coming into a possible better opportunity.
Perth are going to make a change. Sam Sutton's 100th A-League game comes to an end. And for the first time since April 2020, Gabriel Popovic is on the pitch. in an A-League game. The two sons of Socceroos boss Tony Popovic in the A-League right now. Of course, his brother Christian is at MacArthur. So Popovic, welcome back to the A-League after 5 years and 9 months. Josh Risdon has come on as well here for a late cameo as well. So Adam Griffiths with 2 changes, fresh legs, and we'll see if there are any positional or formational switches now to try and exploit the man advantage. Here's Popovic, first touch. No, De Abreu. Greeny was the player that came off as part of that double substitution. Five minutes to go. Back in the 2019-20 season, Popovic made 14 appearances, didn't break through for an opening goal. Here's a long shot. It's De Abreu again. The ball's just finding him in the pocket at the moment, and he wins a corner.
Well, De Abreu not afraid to step into this arena tonight, and his team need him on the edge of the box again. It's Lawrence, twinkle toes, and just sets him up with a nice little roll-up. But again, another shot from distance for the home side.
Fans finding their voice. Brian Kaltak has got his head on an attacking corner tonight, but he wasn't able to generate the power goal bound. Outswinger from Lawrence. It's over Kaltak and everyone's head. Kwan Yo blocked off the boots. Wooden recycles the ball. Kwan Yo again. Now Shamoon looking for Kaltak. Good header away by Stanisic. Lawrence. Risdon, the most recent sub. Back to Tom Lawrence. Lawrence with a low cross. Easy to defend for Kiddo. Lawrence gets another chance. He clips it now. Pennington. Kaltak! And it's gone wide. Kaltak ends up in the net, but somehow the ball doesn't.
Wow. We had one very similar last week as well, right in front of goal, and he's put himself into the net and didn't take the ball with him. It's a great knockback from Pennington. He's maybe just thinking about the contact from Smith, but he's got to score. He could have kissed that one into the back of the net.
Oh, frustration for the Glory fans. They were wheeling it in and it just didn't get the necessary touch. Brian Kaltak's first wait for a goal in Glory colours continues. 13 months since he last found the back of the net in the A-League now. Smits, even though he went down clutching at his wrist, is okay to continue. No drama from the Adelaide custodian. The clock is Glory's enemy. Adelaide have set up their stall. Are Perth good enough to find an equaliser? Can they set up a big finish? Here's Shamoon. Kwan Yo. Pennington. Bugaria. De Abreu and Wooden. Back to Kwan Yo. A darting run. All about the cross. Oh, it turns back onto his right. And Kikianis standing tall in the middle. De Abreu to Lawrence. Kikianis again. Lunges into the header and clears. And now Lawrence. Top right corner of the box. Risdon there with him. Good slide challenge comes in. Commitment from the Adelaide players. Bodies on the line. Perth reset. Lawrence now from deep on the right. Pennington. Clearance from Kiddo. Deflects off Pennington to Cooley. Able to come in. Oh, and he's been wiped out by Risdon. Yellow card for Josh Risdon.
And that'll be his 5th of the campaign. The first player to get 5, I think, in the competition. And he didn't miss him.
Well, could VAR have a look at the point of impact here?
Well, all I know is for Adelaide United, this is a result they need, and they need bodies on the line tonight, and they've had that all across the pitch, in the back line, in the forward line, in the wing position, even on the bench. But moving forward, they haven't put the two halves together. It was like one attack and one defence. So if they get this result, yes, gain some confidence from it, but they've played and they've been flexible, and it's an away performance in the second half, which is probably the most pleasing thing for Ayrton Andrioli.
20 seconds until the fourth officials board goes up and announces how far away the finish line is for Adelaide and how much time Glory have left to keep charging forward. Pennington sees Risdon wide on the right, decides to play it out wide. 5 minutes to go, and over the head of Shamoon. He was entangled with Tatu, but sold it for all it was worth. Wooden. He's got Guanyo in space, but Tatu defending from the front. And that's well done by the youngster. Another yellow card pops out of the pocket of Sam Kelly. Wooden goes in the book, and well played Amlani Tatu.
Yeah, great work from Tatu there. That's why he's been brought on. Try and win things, try and allow his team to get up the pitch, and Wooten could have played that quite easily and simply out wide to Guanyo there. You just hope for Perth Glory's sake they get another opportunity, because it's been all of this type of stuff tonight, piling on the pressure. Just haven't got a reward yet again.
One of the additional 5 minutes is ticked by. Adelaide are preparing Fabian Taladieri here to come on. Not just yet, though. One more phase of play. Oh, Smits sails it out. Maybe it'll be two more phases of play then. Are we going to see this change? We are. And this is interesting. Amlani Tatu, they're going to sub the sub. So I'm sure that it's a tactical thing. Tatu, he gets a high five from his coach. I'm sure he understands, but he was a second half sub on. Came on with Padash Badana, who himself was sent off. Ball's cleared away from Bugaria. Duzel. Repelling headed from the edge of the box. Adelaide stacked up behind the ball here. Perth down to 3 minutes of additional time remaining. Risdon sees two opponents immediately. Still fashions across. Cleared away by Stanisic. Up goes Kaltak. It's going to roll on, and the crowd rose, but Guanyo couldn't get to the ball before Smits.
They've been warriors tonight. Starting with that man there, Josh Smits, on the ball. The back line in front of him, just handling and understanding the assignment tonight. It hasn't been pretty in the second half, but after losing 3 in a row, this does the confidence a world of good, and you can build from here. And it only takes one goal to win a game of football, and when Adelaide score first, they go on to win.
A theory that is being given its sternest test so far this season. Bulgaria. And a header from Wooden. Can't link up with a teammate though. Smits just managing the game. Of course, you only get 8 seconds under the new FIFA rule before the referee can adjudicate for a corner. So you can't hold on to the ball for too long. Here's Bugaria. To glory believe. They have come close in this second half. The line of Adelaide defenders. It's inside the penalty area. Shamoon. Good header away by Stanisic. The follow-up to Abreu, and it fell to Wooden. And he is not a prolific scorer in the A-League, Scott Wooden. Just the 3 in 103 games. And he sliced that one wide.
That was the chance. That was the chance for Perth Glory. Almost got the header away. And it was Abreu again, just heading it back towards the big man. He couldn't direct it on target. You can't say that Perth Glory haven't had chances tonight. They have.
Well, that in-goal angle makes it look like it was a far better chance than maybe the degree of difficulty suggested it was. Because there was a fair old slice of the net that was unguarded there. And just like that, we're in the final minute of the additional 5. Kaltak leans into a header. Popovic trying to flick it on for the Glory. Lawrence, Pennington, De Abreu. And now Risdon. Shamoon heads it back into the mixer. Stanisic is up. Back to Kaltak. Here's Lawrence. This is it for the Glory. Last chance saloon. Lawrence, the man to make something happen. Oh, he runs into the tackle. It's going to deflect on. Shouts for handball by Adelaide. And the referee obliges.
Well, how good has Vinko Stanisic been coming into this game? He's been everywhere, winning headers, blocking things, leading the line. Not an easy time to come in there. And that touch took everybody off guard. Unfortunately, it was a handball for the Glory. That'll be it, I think, Teo.
How generous is the referee feeling? Are Adelaide about to punch 3 points into their season with a very hard-earned clean sheet. With 30 seconds beyond the allocated 5 minutes, everything would have to go right for the Glory from here. Ayrton Andrioli wants the full-time whistle, and he gets it. Adelaide United make a huge stand in the West. Craig Goodwin's early goal is the difference, but this was a story of how Adelaide locked in and were able to maintain a clean sheet to the finish line. Panakikianis was massive, and Josh Smits was able to organise a defence in front of him that saw it to the finish line, even with a red card for Panache Madana, meaning Adelaide finished the game with 10 men. Craig Goodwin, the match winner, and for the second game in a row, Perth Glory lose 1-0 at home. And the soul-searching will continue. Adam Griffiths not able to win his first game in charge as the permanent manager. And in this busy season and a clustered ladder, it's 3 huge points for Adelaide United as they prevail against Perth Glory by 1-0. And so as we exhale at the end of that one, Eric Partaloo, Adelaide will be proud as punch that they've got 3 points heading back to South Australia.
Yeah, coming across to Perth and getting that result against a resurgent Perth Glory. Never going to be an easy game, but I think when they scored that goal early and got themselves to half-time, Ayrton Andrioli came up with something different. And it wasn't about